Matthew, thoughts on the Vegas itinerary or the schedule?
Yeah, saw that. Pretty exciting, boys. And I heard you talking about the choice of the sides. I suppose, it's sort of it's hard to predict where all these sides are going to end up at the end of the season. But I think the other thing about it, if it's a 5-year plan to go to Vegas, they're going to have to spread the top teams around to a certain extent. But exciting, mate. I tell you what, Warrington versus Wigan. Yeah. I reckon that guarantees a full stadium. I think we'll get at least 10,000, 12,000 travelling English supporters.
Yeah, we saw them there last year, wasn't there? There was millions. There was so many of them. And
do they know all the Australian players and media talent?
Yeah. They were frothing. Those hardcore fans are up north.
They are, Missile. They, as Fletch said, although they don't have the television coverage we do here, mate, they're hardcore. They just live and die by it. And those two clubs, we've got a huge supporter base. So Wigan Warrington will be massive. I reckon, like the English supporters, as far as their sports are concerned, they do travel. Yeah. And so, I'm saying 10,000. There might end up being more. It might be 15,000 go. So, and then we've got the. I like the fact that the women's game is going to be there. The Gillaroos up against the English girls, the Lionesses. But the only question I've got on it is that the gap between the Australian women's game and the English women's game is fairly significant. I just hope it's a tight game, a quality game. I probably, if we're really looking to sell the women's game over there, I probably would be more inclined to maybe have done the women's state of origin.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. I don't. The Lionesses, they might have progressed and improved a fair bit since the last time I saw them.
Let's stay on state of origin while we're there, Matty. I was just saying to Fletcher before, I saw Billy last night on 360. He was calm. He was confident. He was very articulate, which is quite a difference from game 1 and 2.
Yes.
Do you think Billy is, quietly confident that he's got this one in the bag?
Look, Missile, this is what I think, right? I think at the end of game 1, I think what Madge is very good at is recognising things that he has to do as far as the lineups, tactically, and even in preparation, that what he has to do if he doesn't get it right first game around. We saw that in the Pacific Championships when he's coaching the Kiwis. Now, in game 1, I reckon he's gone away and thought, you know what, I've sort of, in a lot of ways, in game 1, I've let Billy run his own race and sort of just left him alone. And I reckon in game 2, he's gone, you know what, I'm just going to exert a little bit of pressure on Billy here and just irritate him. And the glass houses comment, it was only a small one, but I'm telling you, that game 2 in particular, game 1 he was a little bit shirty, but going into game 2, a lot of his media stuff, you could see he was so irritated by it and annoyed by it. Now the question is, Madge did it for a reason. The question is, did it affect Billy's focus and in turn affect the side? Well, Missile, given the fact of how he's presenting himself in the third game, I reckon it did. I don't know if Billy would admit it, but I reckon in himself, he's probably sat back and gone, you know what? I've let Madge's comments get to me. I've seen the way that I conducted myself in the interviews. Mate, time to return back to the old Billy.
I've got a theory. I reckon the great GT, Sweet Gordon, has said to him, I've got your back, Billy. I'm going to be your mouthpiece. I'm going to go on NRL 360, rugby league from every angle, and I'm just going to hammer. I'm going to hammer Madge. Did you hear?
What about Paul Woogie? What about it?
Mate, he's hammered him. It just kept going, doubling down.
Mate, he goes, mate, I saw Madge at the airport and I congratulated him and said, thank you. This is the way the preparation should be. But, mate, he's never played at Origin level. He's been sacked from the Tigers, from South. Yeah. He's probably going to get sacked here. You're going, enough, Gordon.
Yeah.
Enough.
That was the perfect example of a compliment sandwich. He just went bang, bang, and then just hammered that thing in the middle.
I know.
Yeah, Paul Woogie, he'd be freaking out. Imagine having Gordon off after you.
Oh, mate, Gordon off the bit.
Oh, gosh. Hey,
Yes, I just got a text message through from a friend of mine and a friend of yours, Fletch, Mark Fennessy, who's on the Roosters board. He texted me and said, "Oh, mate, don't know what you're doing tonight, but I'm catching up with Gordon for dinner. Can you make it?" I'm going to text back and say, "Mate, no, you don't need me there." It's fair to say with Gordon, there'll be no awkward silences. There won't be awkward He'll just be. He'll be on the bit, old Gordy.
Well, you know what this is about. This is about the rooster bashing he's been going on.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if Nicholas will be sitting alongside said Fenno, and they would be saying, "Come on, baby, why are you after us, Gordon? Why do you keep saying that sort of stuff?"
That's interesting because when Fenno rang me today, he just went on this long rant about, mate, we're losing Swaliti, we're losing. It just went on and on and on. And I said, mate, why are you talking? Why are you saying this to me? He goes, mate, all your comments on your show, you guys think it's funny. It's not funny. I said, Fenno, it's what the fans want. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Sometimes they can. Hope he doesn't get Fenno'd though. Oh no, he'll be sweet. Hey Matthew, we saw the Eels have made their decision on the coach, and it's the great Jason Ryles. Thoughts?
Yeah, good, fantastic. It's great. Took them a while, I suppose. They went through all their due diligence, as people like to say.
Good word.
But look, Fletcher, we said this before, haven't we, Missile? We said at the end of the day, if the Melbourne Storm came out and said Jason Ryles is our man to replace Craig Bellamy, then they've done all the legwork for Parramatta. So if the Storm think he was the right man, then he's certainly the right man for Parramatta. Big job. It'd be a great job. Big club.
Yeah.
If he really gets them going. They do need to renew the roster. I keep hearing all the time, the Roosters, the Parramatta roster, it's so strong. I don't know if it is. I think in paper it looks strong, but I think they've got to turn a few players over. They've got to refresh the roster, which at the moment is really hard to do because there's not a lot of players on the market, and on top of that, Fletch, you've got clubs like the Roosters who have got plenty to spend.
Well, and this is the thing, right? So Dylan Brown, when he's on, is a gun. We saw that when he played against Australia last year. But a lot of the Parramatta fans are saying, "Oh, he's on too much money. It's $800,000. Let's get rid of him." But who do you replace him with?
That's right. That's right. That's the first thing that Ryles has got to do. He's got to go and sit down with Dylan Edwards and his management and just say, fellas, look, what have we got to do to get rid of these ridiculous clauses? Because the whole time you hear at Parramatta, if you hear the full 8 or 10 years, whatever the deal is, but it'll be just continual, all the speculation about he might be going to leave at the end of this year and all that sort of stuff. You just want to put it to bed, and that's got to affect the player as well. But we'd be naive to think there's not some clubs starting to bump Dylan Brown now.
Of course,
there would be. So yeah, he'd be right, Fletch. Like, he's a hell of a player, Dylan Brown. Sometimes, though, I watch him. I reckon I always watch certain players and you get a sense of good signs, bad signs at the start of a game. And for me, I watch Dylan, when he starts the game pushing the ball sideways and doing no-look passes, I think he's in the wrong frame of mind. When he just runs that football, he looks tremendous.
I tell you what they need to do. They need to do everything to keep Blaze Talangi in their team.
Yeah.
I can't believe that they're thinking about letting him go or letting him test the market. He's 19. He's played 5'8". He's played centre. He's played wing. He's played fullback. Sure, he's got a few errors in him, but there's not too many blokes that can do what he can do. A try he scored last week when he just went bang, bang off the right foot. Thoughts?
He ran over Tommy too.
He ran over Tommy?
On debut, Tommy Travojevic. Boys, I reckon I'd be going to Blaze and saying, if it was me, I mean, Ryles might have different plans for Blaze, but I'd be saying, listen, mate, you're going to be our fullback. We're going to, and from there you open up the discussion. Okay, well, what do we do to the dynamics of the football side? And the thing I'd be tempted to do, right, in just changing, I think the roster needs to be turned over to an extent, but I think they need a new formula, chemistry about how they go around their football. What I'd be tempted to do, I'd be tempted to go Blaze Talangi fullback, Gutho 5'8", Moses halfback, Dylan Brown 13 through the middle. Force him to run.
Could he defend in the front, in the middle?
Yeah, I don't think he'd have any problems at all, Missiles. Yeah, he's good.
Hey, question for both of you guys. Awesome weekend of footy. 2 extra time games, 2 Golden Point field goals, a lot of close matches. Is this the sweet spot of the season where players are in form, they're battle-hardened, they're fit, everyone's still a chance of making the semis? Because the level of football over the weekend could have been the best of the year so far.
It's interesting, Missile, because you say I think at the moment it's evidence that we often we say a fair bit of the time that when it comes to expansion there's not enough good players in the competition. I'm starting to disagree with that. I think there's a lot more depth in the competition than there has been for a long time, and I think this is evidence of it. At the moment, usually, Missile, through the Origin series, the football starts to subside a little bit. It takes a bit of a dip with a lot of the stars missing, but hasn't missed a beat. And even you consider this, some of the stars that are out of state of origin, it hasn't missed a beat. It's been fantastic. This third game could be the most hyped in history. And at club level, it hasn't missed a beat. So there's definitely more depth in the competition. Yeah, the games over the weekend were fantastic.
Now, you two Pyman, I saw you down in my hood, down in Bondi, promoting this podcast, an Olympic podcast. Can you tell us? I know, Matthew, this is your first time you've sort of delved into podcasts. So, what are we going to expect to listen to when you two are over in Paris?
Well, I've got a bit of a template there, Missile. I'm thinking what we do, we get on firstly, and we talk about our shenanigans over the previous 24 hours.
Yep.
What we've seen here, there and everywhere, how we've enjoyed ourselves, some of the sights. I reckon it'll be a protest-a-thon over there of everything. We're talking about all the events. They reckon there's people in Paris at the moment spraying tourists with water bottles, basically tell them they don't want them there for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Kidding.
And they're shitting in the river.
Insane. Yeah, that's
What?
right.
They're shitting in the river.
Why?
As a protest.
Oh, you're kidding.
Because they've got the opening ceremony there, and some of the swim events, like the marathon swim, is in the Seine, and they're doing Edgars in there, which is.
But wasn't it because
I had no idea that they were anti-Olympics over there.
Oh, they're anti-everything over there.
Massive.
Anti-shaving their arms, and the men as well.
Mate, the deodorant, mate, honestly.
Yeah,
talk about on the hooter.
They hate that. Are you blokes, because I saw a little bit of a snippet of it, are you blokes like roomies, or you get your own room?
Yeah, we are.
Your roommates.
Yeah.
What about head to toe?
So we've done one ep Fletch.
Yeah.
We've got it in the bag. Did you see the stories coming out of that one ep?
No.
That was the one you were reading yesterday.
About
Our mate Carl.
Oh, about Carl. Yeah, you hammered Carl.
Wow, we didn't. Yeah,
No, that's good.
Yeah,
but I think,
we
I think
get a
it'll
bit
do.
of touch-up.
I think the potty will do well.
He deserved it.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that. All the events of the day took place, the Aussies, all that stuff. But the weird thing about you said head to toe. See, I don't get head to toe, Missile, because at the end of the day, your genitals are in the same spot anyway. So we may as well just go head to head.
No. Well, that's the same thing. All right, Matthew.
Righto, boys.